What is up, Ravens Nation? Welcome back to Vlog Talk, your home for all things Baltimore Ravens football. Today, we are discussing the latest Ravens fourth quarter collapse and what this means going forward. But first, if you are new to this channel and you are a Baltimore Ravens fan, do me a huge favor, take 2 seconds. It's free, it's easy. Hit subscribe, like this video. It helps it get exposed to more people in the algorithm and this channel shown to more Ravens fans. So, thank you all so much. Now, we witnessed yet again, and stop me if this sounds familiar, the Ravens blow another double-digit lead in the fourth quarter to lose at the end to the Cleveland Browns. This has been a problem, and we've talked about it, and I see that you are all just as frustrated as I am over this. And I see everyone, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. Some people want Harbaugh gone. A lot of people, including myself, are very upset that they did not play Keaton Mitchell hardly at all in the second half. But what is the problem with the Ravens? Okay, if you watch John Harbaugh's press conference, I think it was Monday, I agree with something he said, and that is you can't get too high with the wins and you cannot get too low with the losses. Okay, I completely 1,000% co-sign that statement. When they were winning big against Detroit and Seattle, I wasn't ready to hand them the Lombardi trophy because it's just one regular season game. So 100%. And with this loss, I agree. The sky is not falling for the Baltimore Ravens. They're 7-3, 2-2 in the division. Everything they want is still in front of them. They can still win the division. They can still win be the number one seed in the AFC come playoff time, and they are still capable of making a deep playoff run. Absolutely, all those things are all on the table. So I'm not going to sit here in panic that the season is ruined. However, the problem I have with John Harbaugh's statement that you can't get too low with one loss is that this is not just one standalone game that's been like this. This is now the third consecutive season that they have had issues blowing double-digit leads late in games. This team has been dominant, but they don't finish. You may have seen this stat. The Ravens this season through 10 games are now third all-time over the last 40 years in least amount of time spent trailing. Let me read this off to you. Starting at number 5, 2007 Patriots, first 10 games, only trailed 51 minutes, 3 seconds. Number 4, 1990 Giants, 43 minutes, 42 seconds. 2023 Ravens, only trailed 28 minutes, 46 seconds. Number 2, 1998 Broncos, only trailed 27 minutes and 7 seconds. And number 1, the 1984 Dolphins, have only trailed 14 minutes and 46 seconds through 10 games. So they are in historically great territory, but they're the only team out of those 5 that are not 10-0 through these 10 games. All 4 of those other teams were 10-0. The Ravens sit 7-3. And all 3 of their losses, they blew leads late in games. Through the last 2 years, they lead the league with 6 double-digit blown leads. So we can sit here all day and say that we can't get too low because it's just one game, because this has been a consistent issue through over 2 years now. When is it going to get fixed? And my question to you guys, what do you think the problem is here? Okay, you've had different offensive coordinator than you've had the last 2 years. You changed defensive coordinators at the beginning of 2022. One person there is consistent, and that is Mr. John Harbaugh. Let me clarify my stance on this so nobody thinks I'm sitting here saying I want John Harbaugh to be fired. I'm not. I like John Harbaugh. I think he's a very good coach, one of the best in the league. But that is a problem. And when you are the common denominator these last now 2.5 seasons, you are the head coach. It's your job to make sure these collapses do not happen. If it happened once, I would say, you know what? It happens. These guys aren't perfect. You make a mistake here or there, the other team capitalizes on it. Okay, It is what it is. But the last 2 years, this is a problem. Why I'm concerned about this is what's going to stop them from doing this come playoff time. You have a 14-point lead, and you just can't put the game away. You can't put the game away. Sunday was very frustrating because you had Keaton Mitchell, who in his last 2 appearances showed that dude is absolute dynamite. He is the fastest player on the field. The most explosive player on offense. And for some reason, you play him, 4 snaps in the second half? Are you joking me? And I'm during the game in the fourth quarter, when they couldn't sustain a drive to save their life, I was thinking, I almost hope Keaton Mitchell tweaked something. Not because I want him to be hurt, but because there has to be some justification as to why they took the most electric player off of the field. And turns out, no, he's not hurt. Which I'm glad going forward he's not hurt. But John Harbaugh said that's just the way the game was called. And they didn't want to put too much of the game plan on him. Bro, when you have a dude gashing defenses for 7, 10, 20, 30 yards every time he touches the ball, I don't understand that. And I'm not in any way claiming I'm smarter in football than John Harbaugh or the Ravens staff, but that just seems like common sense that you keep the most electric player, the most dynamic playmaker on the field, especially in a close game when your offense is struggling to sustain drives and your defense cannot get off the field to save their lives. It's little things like that absolutely blow my mind. You look at to the original question, who is to blame for this? You look at like ESPN, I'm sure they're all saying Lamar Jackson. I have been a big defender of Lamar Jackson on this channel. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's one of the best in the league, and his track record absolutely backs that up. This was not Lamar Jackson's best game by any stretch of the imagination. Matter of fact, I would go as far as to say this might be his worst game of the season. That first interception that he threw right before the half was terrible. That was an awful throw, and it cost him 3 points, which turns out to be the difference in the game. The second one, the pick six, I don't blame him as much, which may sound very illogical, but the pass was batted and deflected up in the air, and it just happened that way, okay? And he was being bull rushed. The offensive line was very suspect in the second half, to say the least. He was under siege. That Browns pass rush was getting home very consistently. So Lamar Jackson absolutely owns a slice of Sunday's loss. The offensive line owns a slice. The defense owns a slice because they could not stop the Browns to save their life in the second half. And the coaching staff absolutely deserves a piece. This is not a one person or one coach or this game did not fall on one person or one position group. This was a total team failure, in my opinion. Overall, this falls on Harbaugh. That's the way it is. That's the way the NFL works. Harbaugh is to blame for these collapses because he is the coach. It's his job to get it fixed, and he's the common denominator of the last 2 seasons of these collapses. I don't know if they purposely take their foot off the gas when they get up by 2 touchdowns or what it is on that sideline that changes when they get up by 2 scores. But it is concerning at this point in the season. We should be nearing the point that these collapses are not still happening like they have the last 2 years. But that's just my 2 cents on it. I want to know what you guys think. Who is to blame for these consistent fourth quarter collapses by the Baltimore Ravens? Is it John Harbaugh? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Todd Monken? Who do you put the blame on, particularly for Sunday? But we'll even go back the last couple of years. Who do you think is to blame, and what changes do you think need to be made going forward? Because fact of the matter is, if this team wants to make a Super Bowl run And I think we all agree the Ravens have the pieces necessary to make that Super Bowl run. They can't be choking the game up every time they get it's within 14 points in the fourth quarter. You have to be up 30 points every fourth quarter to not lose the game. I think it was Jeff Zrebiec in his article, I think it was him, said basically, and I'm paraphrasing, the formula to beat the Ravens is to just hang in the game long enough to where it's still a game in the fourth quarter, and then see if the Ravens choke the game away. And again, that's paraphrasing what he said, but that is 100% facts. That is facts. You just hang in there with the Ravens and then see what happens. The Ravens have a tendency of giving the game away in the fourth quarter. All three of their losses, they did that. They led right at the end of every single game. And they found ways to lose. Good teams find ways to win. The Ravens consistently find ways to lose games. So in conclusion, yes, I'm very happy they're 7-3 and still sit second in the AFC. Everything that they want and can get, including a Super Bowl, are all in front of them. But when does this stop? When do you stop losing games for yourself and giving wins to teams? That's the big question. But I'm going to go ahead and end the rant there. Let me know what you guys think. Who's to blame? What do they need to do to get it fixed? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to this channel and you're a Ravens fan, do me a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Go Ravens!